CPS Energy is encouraging the homeowners of San Antonio, Texas to plant trees for a couple of reasons. One of those is because we want to save energy. We want to save approximately 700 megawatts of energy by the year 2020, and that would keep us from having to acquire that energy by other sources, such as building another power plant. Not only will we save energy, but you may have heard that trees help clean the air. They absorb carbon dioxide and give us oxygen. Well, CPS Energy, in conjunction with some other partners, the City of San Antonio being one, has implemented what we are calling our Green Shade program. And the Green Shade program is a rebate program for CPS Energy customers that if they plant a tree, they can save money and save energy. We have an application that can be downloaded online at CPS website, and or you can pick up a hard copy at the customer service center if you don't have access to the internet. In the application lists the trees that are eligible for the rebate and instructions on how to apply for the rebate. The maximum rebate amount is $50 per tree. It will be given as a rebate on the CPS bill of a CPS customer, a maximum of 3 trees per household, so $150 possible for a rebate. Besides that, the initial savings on the tree, planting trees around your home helps shade the home, it increases your property values, and makes everything more aesthetically pleasing and just a better environment all the way around. Michael, this is the site we've chosen for the tree. What do you think?
It's great. You've got the southwest sun right here.
The first thing you want to do is choose the location for your tree. It is important that the tree be within 10 to 30 feet of the home. We are on the southwest corner, which is a perfect site for this tree. It will give adequate shade and cooling properties for the home. And this will be a wonderful site for the tree. It gives wonderful shading, cooling properties. The sun is more direct on the southwest side. As the tree grows, it will continue to provide shade and cooling for the home. That in turn will reduce the energy bill and just make it a much more pleasant place to sit. Once you've chosen the location for your tree, measure the pot that the tree is in and dig the hole at least 3 times as wide, 3 times the width of that pot, of that diameter of the pot. Okay, now as you're digging your hole, before you get the hole too deep, be sure to get your tree and measure the depth of the tree, and then compare that to how deep you've dug your hole. There's no reason to do more work than necessary. Okay, when Michael was measuring this, he measured to the top of the root ball of the tree, not to the top of the pot. That's oftentimes different. The root ball is shallower. Now, this location is on a slight slope, so our depth should be measured from the top of the slope, not from the bottom. During the time that we're digging the hole, you should keep the tree in the container so that the roots do not dry out. We may notice that we have a round hole and a round pot. The shape of the hole does not matter. The width is the most important. We want to loosen up the soil so that the roots can easily grow into that area, and that encourages root development. Now that we've dug a little bit deeper, we're going to take a second measurement. Now notice that the top of the shovel handle is approximately 2 inches higher than the actual depth of the hole. That's what we want, because we want the flare of the roots of the tree, what we call the flare at the bottom of the trunk and where the roots begin, we want that to be above the soil level. If this goes below the soil level, then the root tissue, the roots, will then begin to grow up and around and could actually do what we call girdle the tree and choke it off and kill the tree, or it will not thrive. We're now going to check and make sure that we're at the depth. Remember, we talked about we're on a slope, that we're at the depth of the high side of the slope and not the depth of the low side of the slope. So we'll go ahead and measure that. I got it?
Yeah, it looks good. I'll just go ahead and
show it.
show this. Okay.
We're ready to go. The tree we've chosen for this site is a Monterey oak and also known as a Mexican white oak. And we chose this tree above the other qualifying species for several reasons. First of all, compared to the other species that are allowed in the rebate program, this one is rapidly growing, is quicker growing. It also is what we consider what we call semi-evergreen, which means that the leaves stay on the tree longer than a deciduous tree. A deciduous tree loses its leaves in the fall. This tree won't lose its leaves until the spring, just at the time when the new leaves are going to come on. It's also very drought tolerant and very easy to care for. Now that the tree is out of the pot, we are able to visualize, we're able to see the roots. What Micah's doing, we're looking to see how compact, how root-bound the pot is, how tight those roots were in the pot. Any roots that are tight, wrapped around in a circle, and circling the root ball itself, we want to loosen those. We want to pull those out, and that's what we're doing here. Now, if you don't have a tool in your shed, don't worry about that, because you can do the same thing with your hands. Whatever works for you. This tree, when it came from the nursery, had a supporting stake, a bamboo rod that was supporting the tree as it grew. We're going to remove that now. Oftentimes, when we remove the stake, we will see that the tree then, without that support, and because of the way it's grown being supported, will lean away from where the side that the stake was on. We're going to position the tree in the hole to accommodate for that lean, and as the tree grows, it will straighten. Now that we've accommodated our root ball, we've pulled those roots away and we've adjusted a little bit, we need to measure again, because we've taken some of that soil out from underneath the tree. And as you can see, we're a little short. We're a little shallow. The remedy for that is to come back and put some soil back underneath and bring the tree up so our flare is above the soil line.
And we will compact underneath.
Okay. Compact the soil underneath to give good stability to the tree.
Bottom's good, be compacted, the sides are not.
Okay. The bottom is compacted, it's nice and tight. We'll measure again.
And we look good.
It looks great. Okay, the next step is to backfill the hole, but only halfway. We'll add some water, agitate the soil, move it around a little bit, and the point of that is to get the air pockets out of the soil. At the same time we're adding water to the hole, we're adding water to the tree. We're watering the tree.
Make sure we get the root ball good.
We want to saturate the root ball, get the tree good and wet, make sure we have good water in the planting hole. Yeah. The next step is to backfill the hole the rest of the way. It's always preferable to use the native soil, the soil that you took from the hole. Sometimes we call this tough love for the tree. It's got to get used to living in its home, being in the soil that it's expected to thrive in, without adding an amendment or fertilizers. And again, as we're backfilling, remember, we want our soil level to be that of the original soil level, not of the grass. So although it looks like this might not be quite enough soil, where did it go? We're going to bring it in, come up around the root ball. Remember, we're leaving the flare.
Okay.
And we're going to continue to water.
Okay, you want to do done and then we'll water? What I want to do here.
And last but not least, we're going to do a final step in of the soil. Not stomping and compacting tightly, but just a step in to allow stability and put our soil up against those roots. And when we've finished all those steps, we'll give it a final watering. Make sure all the soil is nice and wet, make sure it's all up against the roots of the tree, and give the tree a good drink. And the last step in our process is to mulch the tree. Our mulch depth should be approximately 2 inches, and we want to be sure that that mulch is away from the flare of the tree. The mulch is going to help the soil and the tree hold moisture, and it gives a nice finishing touch. But again, we want to make sure that the mulch is pulled away from the trunk of the tree. The mulch not only holds moisture in, but it helps regulate the soil temperature, and it gives our tree, who's maybe in a little bit of shock from being transplanted from its nice pot to the hole in the ground and new location, new site, and it helps that tree by regulating the soil moisture and the soil temperature. Okay, there you go. Wasn't that easy? And not only that, but it's beautiful. We're cleaning the air, we're saving moisture, we're making our world a more aesthetically pleasing place, and this tree will be here for generations to come.